Let's imagine you want to buy a large piece of furniture, like a sofa. How do you know if it will fit in your home? And what if there's a better place for it than the one you initially thought about? Today I want to show you a simple way to test your interior design ideas before you buy the furniture by using a widely available app called Procreate and a neat trick architects use called Scale. And once you have those down, you can just take your sofa and rotate it around the room and think through various scenarios, like, should I place my sofa next to the window? That could be an interesting place to read. Or do I place it on one side? Do I place it centrally? How much space do I have left on each side? Let me just add some more things in here, perhaps a little side table, a coffee table, or an armchair. And while we're at it, perhaps we could just add a plant and perhaps a little rug. You can think through all these ideas without spending any money so that by the time you do decide to buy a piece of furniture, you know for sure where it should go. Let's get into it. Welcome to episode 12 in my Workspace Redesign series. The introduction of this video probably left you with some questions, so here's what I'm going to explain in the next part. Number 1, how do you know if the sofa is in the right proportion relative to the floor plan? I mean, it could be bigger or smaller, right? Number 2, where can you find this top view icon of the sofa? Number 3, what if you cannot find this icon? And number 4, where can you find more of these icons? We'll cover all of this and more in the next part. Alright, so how do you know the icon of the sofa is in the right proportion relative to the room? So let's say you want to buy a Molly sofa from For Living. It's an American brand, I think. I don't really know them. I just found them randomly and I thought this sofa could be a good example. You pick whatever sofa you want to buy. Now, if you look at the photos, you will see the top view icon among the photos in the description. And just right-click and download it. I will download both the one with the pillows and the one without. In the next step, you want to remove the sofa's background. I think there are all sorts of apps that promise to remove the background in photos. The way I do this is with Canva. For these kind of icons, I generally prepare a layout that has a square format, and as you can see, I already have a few icons in here. Under Uploads, you upload your couch icon and add it to the document. Just scale it a little bit more to fill the layout, and then press the background removal button, which deletes the background in seconds. You then save your couch icon as a PNG with transparent background. In the following step, we move to Procreate. I will open the drawing where I left off in episode 11, which is my room in the scale 1:20, with the overlaid grid. Let's do a short recap. Scale 1:20 means that 20 centimeters in real life is 1 centimeter on my paper. But my grid spacing is not every centimeter, but every half of centimeter, which means that each one of my squares represents 10 centimeters in real life. If you want to learn more about scale, just go watch episode 4 and 6 from this playlist. But really, even if you don't want to work with an architect scale, you can just put a grid on your paper and say my grid spacing is 3 centimeters or 5 centimeters or 10 centimeters or 20 centimeters in real life, and then just apply the dimension of your drawing to that. My room is already in the scale 1:20, and if you want to see how I did that in more details, you can go watch episode 11. Though, just a short recap, my room is 483.6 centimeters by 448.2 centimeters in real life. And to draw it in the scale 1:20 means that the room size is 48.3 squares by 44.8 squares. And now I want to bring my sofa in, and this too has to be in the scale 1:20. I can see on the website of the sofa that the dimensions are 94 by 40 inch, which in metric scale means 238 by 101 centimeters. All I have to do is translate this dimension in my scale. As I said, one of my squares represents 10 centimeters in real life, which means quite simply that the dimension of my sofa on my drawing is 23.8 squares by 10.1 squares. You can adjust the length of the sofa by scaling the image uniformly and then adjust the width freely if the image is not proportionally accurate. And now you have a sofa that is in the same scale as the room. And this is pretty great because you can test all sorts of scenarios with it. The first thing you can check is its proportion relative to the room and how much space there is left around it. Is it really big in relationship to the room? Is it quite small? How much space do you have left and right? You could also move it around. I showed you a similar process in episode 7 when I was moving the table around the room, but there I just sketched the contour of the table. Here we are using the real view image of the sofa. And I don't have to stop here, I can add other pieces of furniture too that are also in the right scale. A coffee table, a side table, an armchair, a carpet. I can expand to more than just one piece of furniture, create entire situations, group them together, move them around, and really think about furniture setups and how they would work with my life. Alright, what do you do if the sofa you want does not have this top view in its description? In fact, I think there are many more companies that do not show this top view of their furniture. IKEA is one of them, for example. And the reason behind it is that most people don't look for them or don't care about them. And you might very well encounter that situation for your specific sofa. But what you have to remember is that these companies don't work just with consumers. They also work with designers and architects. And designers and architects generally want these assets to make decisions in their projects. So either look on the furniture website for resources for professionals, or just email them asking for a top view of their sofa. They're normally happy to do so because they too want to minimize their product returns. So they generally will be very happy to assist you. At the very least, if they don't have the top view photography, they can just send you an icon with just the contour. It looks kind of like this, and it should be proportionally correct, and they typically have one for every piece of furniture at their disposal. Maybe the sofa you like is from a home decor reseller or a vintage store or an antique store, and you can't really get it. There isn't somebody who has these icons. Then what do you do? My suggestion is to try to find the closest icon online. So where do we find more of these icons? Just Google top view furniture and you can find it in many places. You can find it on Adobe Stock. Many photo stock websites have it. You can find it on Canva, not a lot, but you can find some top view furniture pieces there. Some of them are painted, some of them are sketched, some of them are graphics. You can find on Pinterest, there's quite a bit of top view furniture. On Etsy, you can find entire collections of top view furniture which you can buy for a couple of dollars. So you can find a lot if you know what to look for. But how do you know the size of the furniture that does not come directly from a manufacturer? So let's say you found some pretty icons on the internet, but you don't exactly know their size, right? How do you know the size of pieces of furniture that don't come from a manufacturer? There's no description regarding the size, right? Then what do? You orientate yourself according to the furniture's standard sizes. Most furniture producers work around standard dimensions. Some deviate a couple of centimeters from the standards, but they are all around there. And by the way, the standard dimensions also vary slightly from country to country and from zone to zone. For example, I've seen that Holland has standard dimensions that are a little bit bigger than other countries. I don't know if this has to do with the fact that people are a little bit above average taller in Holland. So do take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, and maybe if you really want to know the exact standards of your country, maybe just search those. But I'm just going to give you some dimensions for you to be able to start with. And if you need more in-depth information, you might want to search that. So here are some standard dimensions. For a single bed, typically it's 90 by 200 centimeters. A double bed, 140 by 200 centimeters. I'm just going to show you some overall dimensions, but basically a 3-seat sofa, 210 by 90 centimeters, an armchair, 90 by 90, dining table, 120 by 80, or 180 by 90, dining chair, 45 by 45, coffee table, couple of dimensions, 90 by 60, 110 by 60, work desk and home, 120 by 60. So you can start with these dimensions to kind of scale down the furniture icons you find online. If the piece of furniture you are looking for is not on the list, just Google standard dimensions of X piece of furniture in X area of the world, and you'll find some helpful information. I can also recommend a really useful book called Neufert, which, at least in the Germanic space, is used a lot, and it's very good for basic standard dimensions. If you can't find anything like your exact sofa, perhaps you can draw it from bits and pieces of other icons that you find. Just look for something in the shape and color of your desired sofa and then scale it to the right dimensions. Patch it together, group it, and there you have your unique baby sofa. Then add any supporting furniture that you want to make your idea complete. Tables, plants, chairs, carpets, or anything else that you want. And this is how you will figure out if your furniture will fit in your room. I hope you enjoyed this. In my next episode, we will talk about how I use this type of top view furniture to think through layout ideas for this specific room and my specific needs. And if you want to see any of the episodes I mentioned before, check out the playlist here.